trading the news. But now when we are trading the news, what exactly are we looking at in the news? Right? We are actually looking at a data of that news release. So we are not trading the specific news, but we are trading the results from the news that happened, right? The data that comes from that specific news. So there's a different types of, a news event, a news global economic event. Some of them, they are actually a major, some of them, they are major news. Some of them, they are actually, just news that drives maybe currency pairs and so on and so forth. So today we're gonna go through and look on the different types of them, just to see, which ones we can be able to take advantage and try to trade and try to capitalize. Guys, mute the mic. Oh, I will mute you guys. Don't worry. If you don't mute yourself, I'll mute it. Again, if you guys have a question or anything, please mute the mic, or you can type on the chat. If you have a comment, again, you can, type on the chat, or you can mute the mic and comment. It's always nice if we do this as a conversation, rather than just, me preaching to you guys, but to be able, to communicate together. So I think I passes the data. Okay. So what data in the economic calendar, we find? What exactly the data that we find on the economic calendars? If I may ask, is there anyone who understands what economic calendar is? Maybe I'm gonna say economic calendar can't, no one, understand what exactly it is. Anyone? If you do have any idea, you can write on a chat box, so that maybe we can share with people. So the information in the economic calendar is more familiar called economic indicators, right? So what we are looking on a economic calendar is to find the economic indicator, right? And now when we find that a specific economic indicator, we look to go on a specific instrument that will indicate the indicator that we find. I don't know if we're together there. So the information in the economic calendar is more familiar, called economic indicator, because that information, that data that comes after the events or after the news release, that's the indicator that will tell us what exactly is going on in a global economy, right? Again, with a different areas of economy, different sectors of economy, but they all have different types of economic calendar with the economic events that produce economic data, and that give us economic indicator for us to trade or to invest in certain type of a stock. Okay, so this is statistic data that shows a certain information about economic news in a specific country or in a region in a certain period, right? So economic indicator in a list of economic news that usually released by the government agencies, international organizations, as well as the private research institution. So you in economic calendars, you will find people who release, or the organization that release those news, mostly they are government agencies. So certain aspects of the government, let's say, for example, interest rate, GDP, those are specific deals with the government. International organization, specific international organization like G7, G10, those type of organization. And again, the private research of a sector or of a certain, a country, economic in a specific country. So those are groups that produces those economic events that actually produce those economic indicator, tells us where we should do, what we should do, where we should invest, which sector we should put money, which sector we shouldn't. So for example, every quarter, the United States government released the gross domestic product, which is the GDP data, right? The information allows the investors to analyze the performance of US economy over the period of 3 months. Right? So if you wanna, let's say, invest in a specific company in US, right? Or you wanna buy stock with a company in US, or maybe you wanna trade, in the CFDs as what we do, as maybe you want to choose a specific company in US. So the GDP, it actually measures the 3 months, how the United States economically perform. To those who actually know already right now, US have been having, a negative GDP for past 3 months. That is why there was a talk of, people going on a recession, while they said, no, we are not yet in a recession, because the numbers of the last 3 months were better than the other 3 months before. So those are the type of news that actually give us the indicator of specific events or specific economy in the country, right? So this information allows the investors to analyze the performance of the US economy over the period of 3 months, and again compare the figure with the last year performance. Better economic performance in a GDP can have a significant impact on investment decision made by the marketing participants. All right, are we good so far? Are we together? Any question, any comment, please put it on the chat box. We can be able, to share with everyone. So don't forget, any question, any comments in the chat box. Okay. So how does the economic calendar works? The economic calendar, it's a routine schedule of the news related to the economic in the country, right? Where the news information become an economic indicator in analyzing the charges in the forex currencies. So economic news released mainly on a major currency pairs, right? Hope we all know what are the major currency pairs. So the major currency pairs, the GBP, which is Great British Pounds, USD, United States dollar, the JPY, the Japanese yen, the AUD, Australian dollar, the CAD, Canadian dollar, as well as the EUR, which is the European dollar as well. So these are the major currency pairs that you can find in the market. And most of the time, week in, week out, there will be a specific news regarding these instruments. So this is where we take advantage, us as a traders, as a forex trader who trade CFDs, to say that, okay, right, if there will be a news of a GDP, it actually means I should be able to concentrate on a GBP instrument. If there's a news of Japanese yen, let me look on the instrument of Japanese yen. If there's a news of Australian dollar, let me look on a Australian dollar as a currency. Then you can do your own analysis, right? Giving you a hint here. Before everything, you look on these news before you do your analysis. Your technical analysis you can do anytime, but you should always understand that these news can move the markets more than the technical analysis. Because as what we've been, studying or we've been preaching before, that the technical analysis, it's all about the history of the instrument, what happened before for that instrument, right? It's following that steps to where it turn, where it resists, where it pull back. But when it comes to the economic event, it can break on those, resistance levels. It can break on those support levels. It can change the direction, change the trade. So as a trader, I think before you enter in a market, I know most of the people, they get signals from the mentor to say that, hey, you can buy 1, 2, 3, or you can sell 1, 2, 3. But if I want to be a profitable trader and a professional trader, I'm going to have to look on this news first. I look what is hot in the market at that particular time. Then I go on a chart and concentrate on that particular instrument. So the economic list usually forms as the metric table that contains the data of the month and the year during which the economic news released of a particular country will be included in that specific list. So there will be a table where you're going to see, and if you view the data, you're going to see also what exactly the results, if the news is already released. If the news is not, it hasn't released yet, you can see what exactly the event will be all about. You can understand that, okay, they are talking about the Japanese yen. The reason why they're talking about Japanese yen, because they are in a COVID-19, they are on lockdown, trains and the transportation, they are not moving, right? So it's very difficult for the product to move from one area to another, from manufacturing area to actually distribution or to retail. You know, it's difficult to move the product. So those are the news. That's the news that I actually, you know, watched yesterday about the Japanese yen, you know. So things like that. You go on Australian dollar, if you can be able to see the Australian dollar news, you view and then you read what exactly it's happening. Right? This, it helps us to familiarize ourselves with the and merge that knowledge with the forex analysis that you do, with the technical analysis, and the trade, so that you shouldn't have much more, you know, loss trade, a much profitable trade. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? No questions? Okay. All right, let's move on. Don't worry, we're gonna go on a chart. Yes, you can record if you want to record, you can record it, but I'm already recording it. I can send you the recording if you also want the recording. I actually upload these videos on a YouTube. There's a YouTube channel, you can be able to check all the videos. There's more videos as well, Mr. You know, Owemi. I don't know, it's Miss Owemi. There's more videos that you can be able to watch. Yes, I can see the hand from Miss Pamela. Any question?
No, sir. Go on.
All right, ma'am. So this is basically some of the website, how it shows in terms of the news, like this. But there's a different type of website that you can go and check it out, the news. You know, you can even check it out, the news on our own website. We do have a news calendar, the economic calendar there, that you can view some of the stuff. So how important is the economic calendar? It is important to allow, it is important because it allows us to monitor the market changes caused by any changes in economic condition in a specific country where you are trading the currency pairs. So the often a high impact news seen by the millions of traders around the world is the reason for increasing of volatility due to the higher than the usual trading volume. All right. So another you know, point there that you should take, when you see that there's a news and again there's a lot of volatility on your instrument, that actually means there's a millions of people that are actually following that specific news. They are following that. And when they are following that specific news, they will make a decision and go in a market at whether to buy or sell. That is why you're going to now be able to see the volatility now of that specific instrument, you know, whether going all the way up, whether going all the way, you know, down. Okay. By always following the economic news updates through the economic calendar. Hence, traders can estimate the amount of the risk they will take, especially traders who are based on a technical analysis. Usually, they will close the pending orders or positions when the higher impact news released are or released to avoid the higher risk. So you can already see that by you understanding the economic calendar or by checking the economic news, it actually gives you a little bit of advantage in terms of the risk management. So if you have pending orders that you are preparing to trade, or you are waiting for the market to go at that position and trigger, what will happen is you realize that they will have a very big volatility. What should you do? You might delete those pending orders, right? Or if maybe you were trading, you wanted to trade with a bigger volume, right? You might realize that, no, because of this news, I'm not sure where this news is gonna, impact this instrument. So let me reduce a little bit, the volume of the trade. So those are the most important when you are actually, participating in or checking the economic news events. Any questions so far? Are we good? So far, so good? Okay. Scalping trader need attention to the economic calendars. If you're a scalper, you like to scalp, jump in the market, get something, you're out of it, they need to be attention to the economic calendars, because if you are attention to the economic calendar and if you're a scalper, this is your opportunity for you to start killing it. This is your opportunity for you to start making really, really good profit, because you can jump there, see the volatility, follow the volatility of the instrument, make some money, you're out, right? Than the long traders. So the long traders, they can look at the economic calendar, maybe based on, we can say, based on risk management, so that they can be able to start understanding their risk management, minimizing the risk management, something like that. But if you're a scalper, this is your game. This is your truly game that you can wake up in the morning, watch it, look at the economic calendars, go to the instrument, check the instrument on your chart. Is that a question?
No.
Okay, all right, let me mute you. Good. So the scalping is a short-term strategy. They prefer a price movement. Worse ups and downs are not too significant to avoid the overtrading. So meanwhile, the higher impact news often causes the price to move so fast and cannot be analyzed with an indicator. Avoiding the trading during the higher impact news, it's a safe way of scalping to maintain a trading account, right? So if you want to avoid it, you can avoid it so that you can maintain your trading account, or you can actually jump in, collect some funds, and you're out. Therefore, always reading the news, it's very important for the scalpers. Okay, how to read the economic calendar. If you visit the economic calendar pages, for example, Forex Factory, investing.com, there are 3 guidelines to take into account. When the news is bad or good for the currencies, a bad news is usually affected the currency, but sometimes a good news doesn't get the response from the market players. It's more of a psychology of the trader in a modern analysis. I can see there's I can recall, where can we read the news? All right, we'll get there. One of them is this one, you can see, Factory, Forex Factory. Another one is investing.com. So we're going to check it out, those websites as well, so that you can check and you can see what I'm talking about. And maybe it will be better in future, so that you can look on these things. The number of content in one metric line of the economic calendar are also the consideration for the traders to conclude the effects of the news on the currency. there are three important guidelines that you can find there. So you can find the actual, you can find the forecast, and you can find as well the previous results that happened to that specific news. All right. So the actual is the latest information after the news is released. It is the number that may be in the percentage or in a decimal, which is the current value of the news item, depending on the type of the news released. Higher values are usually considered to be a good indicators of the currency pairs. The actual data is not filled in if the news item is still on the list, but has not reached the point which the news is released. So traders must pay attention to what time the news will be released to get the actual data. So actual, that's where you see the release, the whole data of the news that is being that has been released. So it is important to actually know the time of this news will be released. The focus, one news metric that will be released also included the focus data. This is a prediction of the financial analysis by comparing the several economic reports on the market. In the focus and actual values are the same or only slightly different. It is usually good for the currency pairs. Again, there's a one website that I like when I want to check the forecast. Do go to they call it commitment traders of report. Commitment traders of report. Yeah, but we're going to Google it. We're going to go on that website. So what it does is that it's a different investors and economic institute actually predicting the results of a certain news or certain economic event that will happen. So they will have the prediction on that, saying that, okay, in this instrument, or for example, gold or oil, because of OPEC, they are having a major discussion about the oil and so on and so forth. We are thinking that oil is going to go short. So there will be maybe hundreds and hundreds of people saying that a number will show, and then there'll be different people side where it shows the other people that are saying goes long. So now you can have the whole pictures that if 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 investors and the economic institute are saying gold or oil is going to drop, and only 20 they're saying gold or oil is going to go, it's going to go up, it's going to rise. That's definitely, you should know that the market is going to, of oil, it will drop, because all of these global economic players, they are actually, contributing in a global economic market. I don't know if you understand me there. Time of the information. If time schedule, the news will release. Currencies is the box metric that provides a currency information. The impact, investigation flags, the impact column were there with a choice of 3 stats. So you can see the choice of 3 stats to see that how this event will happen. A good review will get 3 stats, meaning it is the highly impact news. The event, again, it has their own column for news, and there will be a name in that calendar, a name of that specific news. There will be the actual there will be the focus there, which is we already go through this. Economic calendar analysis. So after understanding the importance of the economic calendar, you must also understand how to analyze it, right? It's important to understand how important it, and again, how to actually analyze. So open an economic calendar that you can use, for example, see a today's data for each of these economic calendar and match it with your local time, right? First of all, time mistake can mess up your trading. So first of all, you have to understand that, is that European news? If it says 2 p.m., what time is it in South Africa or in Kenya, in Ghana, in Botswana, in Lesotho, in Swaziland, right? If it says Australian dollar, 1 p.m., we have to know what time it is in this at our place. because if we don't know, we will end up trading the time where the news is being released, or we'll end up trading without actually understand the specific time of the specific news. You only see one slide. I think it's you. I don't know if there will be anyone else. I think it's you. You can try log out and log in. Maybe if you try log out and log in, maybe it'll work. So you can also use the time data. It's called the timeanddata.com to convert your local time. Okay, this is another website that you can use to convert the local time. It's timeanddata.com to convert, but you can always type it on a Google, 2 p.m. Australian time to whatever country we are. It will give us a specific time. But you can also use find a higher impact news. This is because of more often it has an impact on the currency pairs and the low impact in more aggregated. Okay. Ntlantla, you only see also the first. Okay, let me do this. Let me try to move out and try to tune in again. Let's see. Okay, guys, can you see? Ntlantla, can you see? Notemba, can you see this page that says economic calendar analysis? Yes, okay, we're good now. We're good. Right. So these are just the small importance notes. Small important note. Why is the risk management important? Because the response of the market participants to the news may be different, which causes the market psychology to move according to the demand and again according to the supply, which reflects the actions of accumulation of the market participants. So it's always important when you are actually trading to put your risk management in place, to make sure that you are using the proper risk management. Again, after you understand the news, you're looking on a chart, each and everything that will happen in the news, it will reflect on a chart. Whether it will be in a positive, you will see the instrument going all the way up. If it's on a negative, you see the instrument going all the way down. So these are things that we should always, make sure that our risk management part there in place as well. So which is the most accurate calendar? Once you have experience using the economic calendar for trading, you will find the varieties of the market condition and the impact of the news on the market. And as a reminder that using an economic calendar is no guarantee of the market profit, because the forex market is a large pool consisting of the various kind of the large and the small fish that can cause the waves to change in any time, for any direction. Of the several economic calendar sites that provide a real-time data, it's a Forex Factory. This site is favorable. It's a favorite of the traders who use the economic calendar as the trading tool. So Forex Factory, it actually looks like is the one that we can be able, to check. All right. So for now, maybe if we go, here it is. This is a Forex Factory, but let me just go back. So simple, Forex Factory, search, here it is, Forex Factory calendar. But when you get there, you can see this week, 4 September to September 10, right? Already it's showing us the calendar of Monday. From Monday, okay, this is the weekly. So if you Go all the way down. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We are here. Friday. Okay, this is our part. Japanese yen. They had a little bit of news. This is where I was telling you guys that. So for example, let's say the JPY M2 money stock, they had a little bit of news, 3.4% in terms of positivity of the news. When you click this box, it gives you the information of that news. This is the Bank of Japan. News exactly was coming from the Bank of Japan, a change in the total quantity of domestic currency and a calculation and a deposit in the bank. Actual, remember we talked about actual. It's actually greater than the forecast. It's good for currency. It's released monthly about 11 days after the month end. 11 days after the month end, the Bank of Japan released this instrument. All right, here's how we do now. Okay, where is it? Where can I close? Okay, now because we saw the Japanese yen instrument, we go on a chart. Jump on a chart. Where's the chart? Here we go. When you go on a chart, USD JPY, right? We check USD JPY. Maybe we can check GBP JPY. I was looking at this instrument is because of the news that I see. So you can see the Great British Pounds from the 2nd of September. It actually had a huge momentum, goes all the way up, keep on going, keep on bullishing all the way until it get on the 7th of September. I think from the 6th, it started playing around at the same position, right? Looking for the next move. We are looking here on a bigger time frame, on a 4-hour time frame. It was looking for the next move, what to do, right? Some people, they could have traded at this position. I remember we were talking with Mr. Chaville. I don't know if you tune in. We said you can't trade when the market is at this position, when actually the trend has been going all the way up and it get to this level like this. If you look at on a bigger time frame, let me do this. This is one of the highest, you know, this is the highest of the highest, 167 point something, but this is a biggest highest from the 30th August, right? So it already reaches the highest from the 30th August, right? The possibility of the trade, it's actually to drop, but the trade is not going to go all the way just because it reaches the level, the selling, then it's going to change the direction and start dropping like that. No, if there will be no any economic news that is happening at that specific time, there's nothing will happen. What will happen is the trade will continue playing around at the same position because there is no data being implanted in a Japanese yen that can push the Japanese yen to give a different direction, a different side, right? Until that news. So all this move that you are seeing here, 3 candlestick drops, it's because of this. It's because of the Bank of Japan. It's because of the Bank of Japan has released a specific news regarding their notes, regarding their bank, the federal bank. That's why we see this type of, a bearish movement starting now, showing because of the GBP, it's the best currency, and the Japanese yen, it's a core currency. That means if the news was positive, it won't go up. It's supposed to drop because the GBP, it's a base. But if Japanese yen was the base and maybe the GBP was the core, then you could have seen the trend or the chart start moving the upper direction. Any questions so far there? How are we, bro? The question so far so good. Okay, so look at it now. times are there. There's Euros, the EU Economic Summit. I'm not sure if the EU Economic Summit is still continuing. I think it's been cancelled. You can see these two. It has no data. The ECB, European Central Bank President Lingard was speaking yesterday. I think they were expecting to speak again today. It's cancelled because of the death of the Queen Elizabeth. There won't be anything in Europe right now. They have 10 days mourning. So a lot of things will be shut down, including those who like to watch soccer. English Premier League will be shut down maybe this weekend as well. You know, no one is going to watch football now. So you can see there's no data collected at this level. Canadian, because they are not in Europe, it's still happening. Employment change. Canadian, you can see today there's 1, 2, 3 news from Canada. This is actually the great chance to actually go on a market and look at on Canadian dollar. All right, so let's check on Canadian dollar. Hey, guys, we only have 1 minute. I forgot to let you know. Hey, time is moving fast. 1 minute. When it cuts, we join again.